Let's see the top sights in LA, all in one day. Come on, everybody.
So we are starting the day on the west side, which is mainly going to be the neighborhoods of Venice, Marina del Rey, Santa Monica, and Malibu. As we make our turn, the most famous of those three is going to be over here on the right-hand side. This is the Santa Monica Pier. Some of my favorite movies ever filmed here. In Iron Man 1, when Tony Stark takes his first test flight of the Iron Man suit, he flies all the way around the Santa Monica Pier. And in Forrest Gump, when Forrest starts to run across the country, when he gets to the west coast and he runs out of area to run, he runs right up to this blue arch sign and he stares at it blankly and he turns back and he goes the other way. The end of Santa Monica and the beginning of Abbot Kinney decided to buy up as much of it as he could, and he starts to build what becomes the community of Santa Monica. So Santa Monica ends up being this enormous success. It draws the top 1% of the wealth living in downtown LA out to the water. Starts to get this vision for creating a waterfront resort that would resemble his favorite city in the world, which was Venice, Italy. And he imports gondolas and rowboats made in Venice, Italy that people would use as transportation through this brand new neighborhood. When he's finally done with it, it ends up being one of the most beautiful Southern California locales people had ever seen at the time.
Don't remember anything that I tell you today, please just remember this. Wherever I drop you off is where I will pick you up. Now, right over there, where you see those people standing on that railing, is the downtown skate park. They designed that skate park. Some of the best skaters in the world have skated there. People from Tony Hawk to Johnny Knoxville, right? And so, and if you go a little further left of that, you're going to see these colored walls with graffiti all over it. So that's the Venice Art Walls, which is the public space for graffiti art.
Our first stop of the day was at Venice Beach.
Like I said, at one point in time, there was actually 16 miles of canals running through this area. And so it's incredibly sought after real estate. Rarely will you ever find a place on the canals that's on the market. Like these houses I've looked on Zillow, they go from like $4 to $12 million. It's actually not a private neighborhood. So if you see these walkways on both sides of the water, it's actually all public access. Google does a pretty good job of keeping a low profile here in Venice, but I mean, if you're like a company like Google, you could pretty much take over whatever building you want on the west side, but what better building to grab than the one that already has a giant set of black binoculars standing in the front of it? And so, I mean, it's just a really nice, I mean, they keep it pretty discreet with the exception of that. If you look on the left-hand side, so there's the Santa Monica Pier once again. The Santa Monica Pier happens to be the end of Route 66, which is a classic driving route from Chicago all the way down to Los Angeles.
Our second stop of the day was the Santa Monica Pier. At each stop, we had approximately 45 minutes to explore on our own.
In Century City, and that directly in front of you is going to be Fox Studios. Now, if you look directly behind the motorcade, the buildings have these like beautiful murals which are dedicated to some of the most successful films or TV shows they've ever done over the years. This street, if you look straight down, you see all these tall, high-rise buildings going down all the way until you reach Santa Monica Boulevard. They sold off all of that, which used to be the back lot, and then developers came in and built all those high-rises. From there, we'll make our way up to Rodeo Drive. So we are now officially into the zip code 90210, and as we start to go and get up towards Rodeo, to give you a little background about Beverly Hills, where it came from. So Beverly Hills in its early beginning was primarily an equestrian area. It's where you used to ride horses. And then here's the Beverly Wilshire Hotel over on your right-hand side. Here's the old school Ferrari over here on the right-hand side.
Exploring Rodeo Drive was definitely a highlight. You never knew if you were going to run into someone famous along the way.
Just got here. Yeah. Car watch.
So that black and white set of buildings over here on the corner is CBS Studios Television City. So if you see that farmers market clock tower up ahead to the right, we are now officially at the farmers market. So give me just a second and I'll give you a brief breakdown of the layout and we'll let you go and grab some food.
Stop number 4 was the farmers market for lunch. Lunch was not included as part of the tour. This gave everyone the chance to explore at their own pace and determine what they wanted to do on their own. Our next stop is Griffith Park Observatory and the Hollywood sign.
So on a day like today, the observatory little parking lot next to the building fills up almost immediately. So like for example, all of these people are being sent down off towards the right. If you look off to the right, what you would basically have to do if you drove yourself here is you would have to go down this road as far as you needed to until you found an open parking space on the side of the hill. And those parking spaces are not free. They're actually metered spaces that are $10 an hour. Look off to the right hand side and check out the view, folks. So I mean it's amazing today. Like, so those high-rise buildings you see there to the right, that's Century City. So we drove right past there when we were going to Beverly Hills this morning to where Fox Studios is located. So the beach area where you see the sun reflecting off the water, so that's roughly Playa del Rey. Playa del Rey is just south of Marina del Rey, just before you start to get to Venice Beach north of that. And then if you look a little further down the coastline here, you'll see one really big sort of hill right there, so that's going to be Palos Verdes, right? And so that's going to be just before the Port of Los Angeles, just on the other side of that. And then the faded sort of hill that you see just past that, that would be Catalina Island. And this is a nice full view of the observatory building right there. Over to the right, you see these golden angel wings. If you're to pose directly in front of the wings and angle the shot properly, you will actually be able to fit the Hollywood sign in that box above the wings if you look just back there to your right. So now the observatory is open and free, and so feel free to go inside and check out everything that happens. It's like a giant museum dedicated to astronomy. Inside the building is 3 interior levels filled with all kinds of interactive science exhibits, from a giant Tesla coil. They do demonstrations of the Tesla coil every hour, but then there's also an enormous Foucault pendulum at the main entrance of the observatory. Great presentations at the Leonard Nimoy Theater down below. You can weigh yourself on every planet if you want to. And then there's great views from the first floor observation deck and the rooftop. So if you want to go ahead and explore those areas. So this is the Capitol Records Building, and so the Capitol Records Building was actually the first circular office building ever to be constructed, and the design of it is meant to look like a stack of records with a needle at the very top of it. So at the very top of the needle is a red beacon, and so what it is doing, it's blinking in Morse code the word Hollywood. All right, folks, so as we begin to make our turn here onto Hollywood Boulevard, if you start looking at the sidewalks here on the left and on the right, these are the stars that make up the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Now, these stars are given to celebrities for excellence in 5 categories of entertainment. And the categories are film, television, radio, recording, and live performance. It's owned by the Walt Disney Company. So any red carpet movie premieres that Disney does will happen exclusively here at the El Capitan. From it over here on the right-hand side is the entrance to the Dolby Theater where the Oscars are held. So the red carpet goes straight down this hallway here to your right. The lit-up glass panels you see on both sides of that hallway commemorates the year and name of every movie that's won Best Picture since the beginning of the
Our
Academy
fifth and
Awards.
final stop on the tour was the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
The Chinese Theater was built back in 1927, and a lot of the elements used to construct it were actually brought here by its creator, Sid Grauman. And so it's a deeply immersive Chinese theme both inside and out. Anything you see in movie theaters right now, you can see here at the Chinese Theater. It's the third largest IMAX screen in the United States.
The tour officially ended at the Walk of Fame. As we continued on our way to our point of origin, our tour guide continued to give us insight into many additional landmarks and locations that we passed along the way. We even got to see the Santa Monica Pier lit up at night. This was an amazing tour, and I would recommend it to anyone visiting the Los Angeles area. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. It lets YouTube know that you are enjoying the content.